my name is Jessica Brito. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a psychotherapist by trade. Today I'm going to be talking about the impact of socializing while having a disability. Like I said before, March is the month of disability awareness, and I'm doing all mental health related topics to disabilities. Now, I've said in past videos that mental health includes your ability to socialize with others. So for those in the disabled community, this can sometimes be a challenge and will take an impact on our mental health. So today I'm going to talk about socializing in relation to 4 topics: family, friends, romance, and accessibility or access. Okay? So when we talk about family, we're going to talk about how does your family's cultural views of disabilities affect you, right? When we talk about family, we see that in those communities where a disability is viewed as an illness, a sickness, it can be a little harder for that person to really find their independence and socialize outside of the family, or even sometimes within the family, because sometimes those family systems will protect them from the outside world and limit them, not in a way that they want to hurt them. In the Latino culture, a lot of times it's pobrecita está malita, right? This belief that you're sick and we have to take care of you, right? Because obviously if you're sick, we're going to take care of you. Another thing can also be maybe that you have very aggressive parents who are trying to constantly advocate for you. And then with your disability, you just kind of start minimizing yourself because your parent is always trying to protect you, fight for your rights, which is a beautiful thing. However, it kind of takes away our voice sometimes. Also family conflict. Maybe you're new to a disability. Maybe you just find out that you have this chronic illness and now your family members become your caregivers. And before your illness or before your disability or before maybe having a horrible accident that left you maybe with disabilities or impairments, now your family has to become your caregiver. And then there can be a lot of conflict because now the people that maybe you weren't that close to before becoming disabled are now this big part of your life, right? So then you're now having conflict, like I'm being a burden on my mom. I constantly fight with my dad before my injury, like before my chronic illness, and now I constantly have to be with them. And that really starts impacting our mental health and our sense of independence. Another thing that can happen is friendships, right? It can be a little difficult to develop friendships because of the stigma or lack of awareness of the limits or the ability of people with disability, right? So sometimes, let's say you grew up with a disability and maybe you were in different classes or your parents were constantly with you, so it was kind of hard for you to get that independence to go around class or school and get to know people better and make friendships. Or maybe you just got injured or just got diagnosed with a disability and you feel like, I don't want to be a burden on people. I can't talk to people. I'm just going to burden them. Or you get angry, right? You get angry like you have these friends who used to be your friends when you were quote unquote normal. And now it's like, why don't they know that that area wasn't accessible? Why don't they know this or that about my disability? And it kind of angers you because you believe that they should understand. And although a lot of this can be true, growing your friendships and your circles outside of your family are very much important to your mental health, right? So taking the time to understand that, you know what, I need to start making these friendships and maybe advocating for myself, speaking up for myself, educating people. The next one is romance. Romance is a big one, right? An intimate relationship with a partner is something that we biologically need because we grow as people and we learn to form those intimate bonds and A lot of times there's a stigma both ways. One, the people that are disabled thinking, I'm not sexy enough, I'm not attractive, I'm just going to be a burden on my partner. I don't want my partner to be my caregiver. And then you have the able-bodied community. First question, right? Can you still have sex? Like, yes, we're disabled, right? We're not dead, right? Sex might look different with someone with a disability, but it's not non-existent. So a lot of people will hold back from dating, will hold back from really building those relationships because of the fear of, well, I have a disability. Can I really date someone? Can someone really love me this way? And ultimately, the one thing that's gonna really hinder or make our ability to socialize a little harder is access. Accessibility in the community is huge to develop friendships, relationships, even, being able to go to work. That's a way to build relationships, right? Someone with a disability or a chronic illness might start having a lot of questions and a lot of fears related to access. Will there be a bathroom that's accessible for me? Is the building accessible? People might refrain from inviting you sometimes because they just start thinking to themselves, well, we can't take them there because there's stairs. And then the belief that concerts, clubs, bars, outdoor adventure stuff is no longer suited for people with disabilities. These beliefs really hinder our ability to socialize. So how do we fix all this, right? How do we fix all these stigmas and belief systems? How do we increase our ability to socialize and to strengthen our mental health while having a disability? One is exploring. Become very curious. Learn more and more about your disability so that you can educate the people around you. You will know how to create access for yourself. We learn to adapt, and we only learn to adapt when we have no other option but to do so, right? Adapting with our family, saying, you know what, I'm very thankful that you can do that for me, but let me see how much I can do for myself. Starting to push that independence. When it comes to friendships, at school, start talking to people. Take a chance. I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. I'm not telling you that everyone's going to be okay with your disability. But the more you put yourself out there, the closer you get to finding those people that are your people, right? Dating apps. If you're going to be on a dating app, disclose your disability if you feel comfortable. And if not, talk to somebody for a while before you actually go on a date so that you feel comfortable talking about it. So start speaking up, really asking these questions and educating people on what accessibility you need. And the way you do that is by learning for yourself. And if you're having a really hard time socializing and building groups and putting yourself out there, and you notice that you're getting anxious about being around people, you're getting anxious about talking or advocating for yourself. Maybe the anxiety is too much. Maybe you get really sad and depressed that you have no one. And maybe it's time to make that call. Like I've said before, mental health is for everyone. So if you notice that all these things are going on in your life and it's really hard for you to make the change, talk to your doctor, start talking about maybe talking to a professional that can relate to your mental health. So my recommendation in finding a therapist that works for you while having a disability will be first finding one that has a disability. Like I've said before, I am a therapist with a disability, but I understand that there isn't a lot of us. So finding therapists that work with PTSD or transitional phases in life are going to be your best bet, because our disability is kind of one of these things that shocks our ability to transition, or it just feels like a transitional shift. So those are going to be my best bets. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment in the area below and I'll try to reach out to you. Like, subscribe, and share my channel. Thank you so much. And remember, stay mentally healthy.